Power does not always arrive with noise. It does not always announce itself with force or spectacle. Sometimes power enters a room quietly, studies the structure, controls the flow, and leaves everyone else competing inside a system they no longer own. John D. Rockefeller did not conquer nations. He conquered markets. He didn't fight competitors. He absorbed them. He didn't chase wealth. He engineered inevitability. While others tried to win faster, Rockefeller built systems that could not lose. What follows are not motivational ideas. They are laws. 15 principles Rockefeller lived by. Principles that turned oil into dominance, silence into leverage, and patience into one of the most powerful weapons ever wielded in business. This is not history. This is power architecture. Power does not always arrive with spectacle. Sometimes it arrives quietly, methodically, until resistance no longer exists. John D. Rockefeller did not dominate through force, charisma, or public authority. He dominated through structure. While others competed visibly, he engineered systems that made competition irrelevant. He understood that the most dangerous form of power is the kind that feels inevitable. Rockefeller did not chase wealth. He designed permanence. His rise was not accidental. It was the result of strict adherence to principles, laws of power that governed every move he made. These laws were not written. They were lived. Law 1. Power grows best in silence. Rockefeller avoided attention as a matter of strategy. He spoke carefully, revealed nothing unnecessary, and let louder men exhaust themselves fighting shadows. Silence protected his intentions while others exposed theirs. In an era obsessed with reputation, Rockefeller understood discretion was leverage. When rivals announced plans, he studied them. When they boasted, he prepared. When they sought credit, he secured contracts. He once said, "I have ways of making money that you know nothing of." This was not bravado. It was doctrine. Silence allowed Rockefeller to move without resistance. It prevented enemies from forming early. It denied competitors the ability to react in time. By the time the market noticed him, he was already entrenched. Rockefeller understood that power accelerates fastest before it is seen. Visibility invites challenge. Silence delays opposition. The longer he remained underestimated, the more complete his control became. Power, when quiet, compounds. Law 2. Control the system, not the outcome. Rockefeller did not focus on profits as an end goal. He focused on ownership of the system that produced them. Railroads, refineries, storage, distribution, pricing, every layer mattered. Where others chased sales, Rockefeller chased infrastructure. He realized early that whoever controlled transportation controlled the market. By negotiating exclusive railroad rebates and preferential rates, he made it impossible for competitors to match his costs. They were not outperformed, they were structurally disadvantaged. In his own words, the secret of success is to do the common thing uncommonly well. Rockefeller didn't try to win individual battles. He removed the battlefield entirely. Once competitors depended on his access, resistance became self-destructive. Outcomes fluctuate, systems endure. Law 3. Patience is a weapon. Rockefeller was willing to endure short-term losses that others could not psychologically tolerate. He played a longer game, measured in decades, not quarters. While competitors demanded immediate returns, Rockefeller reinvested relentlessly. He expanded slowly. He waited. Pressure exhausted others before he ever needed to move. He understood something brutally simple. Most men lose not because they are wrong, but because they cannot wait. Patience allowed Rockefeller to weaponize time itself. Every year competitors struggled. His position hardened. When the moment came, he did not rush. He closed. Time, wielded properly, becomes force. Law 4. Lower the price. Until resistance collapses, Rockefeller mastered a strategy that appeared destructive but was mathematically precise. When threatened, he lowered prices below profitability, sometimes for years, until competitors collapsed or surrendered. This was not emotion, it was controlled suffocation. Competitors with higher costs bled slowly. Investors withdrew. Credit vanished. Eventually, Rockefeller absorbed what remained. He understood that survival has limits. Most businesses cannot operate indefinitely at a loss. He could. Power is not about defeating enemies loudly. It is about removing their ability to continue. Law 5. Appear moral. While exercising power, Rockefeller cloaked domination in virtue. He spoke of efficiency, stability, and progress. He framed consolidation as service and control as responsibility. He famously stated, "God gave me my money." Whether belief or strategy, this moral framing disarmed opposition. Critics appeared resentful. Regulators hesitated. The public remained divided. Rockefeller understood that power defended by belief is harder to dismantle than power defended by force. If people believe your dominance is justified, they will defend it for you. Power wrapped in virtue is the most durable form of power. Rockefeller's dominance was not explosive, it was cumulative. Each move reinforced the last. Where others expanded recklessly, he fortified. Where they reacted emotionally, he calculated structurally. These next laws reveal how he turned advantage into permanence. Law 6. Own the bottlenecks. Rockefeller identified choke points long before competitors understood their importance. Transportation, storage, refining capacity. These were not glamorous assets, but they decided who could operate and who could not. Rather than competing openly, he positioned himself where flow could be controlled. If oil could not move without his rail contracts, if refining could not occur without his facilities, then competitors were no longer rivals. They were dependents. He understood that power rarely lies in production. It lies in access. By controlling bottlenecks, Rockefeller made resistance inefficient. Competitors were forced into negotiation simply to survive. Every choke point tightened his grip without confrontation. Those who own the narrow passages decide who advances and who disappears. Law 7. Eliminate emotion from strategy. Rockefeller was famously unemotional in business. He did not take attacks personally. He did not respond to provocation. He did not rush retaliation. Emotion, to him, was an unnecessary cost. Where rivals panicked during downturns, Rockefeller recalculated. Where others felt insulted by price wars, he adjusted margins. His decisions were not reactions, they were instruments. He once said, "I would rather earn 1% off 100 people than 100% of my own efforts." This reflected detachment. Ego never outweighed efficiency. Rockefeller understood that emotion shortens time horizons. Calm extends them. When others rushed decisions under stress, he gained clarity, and clarity compounds. Power favors those who remain composed while others unravel. Law 8. Absorb threats instead of destroying them. Rockefeller preferred absorption over annihilation. When competitors weakened, he did not crush them publicly. He bought them quietly. Their infrastructure, talent, and market share were folded into his system. This transformed enemies into assets. Resistance became compliance. Opposition disappeared without spectacle. Rockefeller did not seek revenge. He sought finality. Absorption was more complete than destruction. A destroyed rival could return under a new name. An absorbed rival vanished permanently, strengthening the system that consumed it. True power does not destroy opposition, it incorporates it. Law 9. Scale only after control. Is absolute Rockefeller expanded carefully. He did not chase growth for prestige. He waited until existing layers were stable, efficient, and obedient before adding new ones. This discipline protected him from collapse. While others grew rapidly and fractured under complexity, Rockefeller grew slowly and consolidated relentlessly. He understood that scale magnifies weakness as much as strength. Rockefeller refused to expand until resistance was mathematically impossible. Expansion followed certainty, not ambition. Growth without control is decay delayed. Law 10. Turn chaos into predictable cash flow. Rockefeller despised volatility. Uncertainty meant exposure. Exposure meant vulnerability. His entire strategy revolved around turning unstable markets into predictable systems. Through consolidation, pricing control, and vertical integration, he eliminated chaos. Oil prices stabilized, supply became reliable, revenue became consistent. Predictability enabled planning. Planning enabled dominance. Rockefeller understood that stability is power disguised as order. While others gambled on market swings, he collected steady returns year after year. Chaos rewards gamblers, order rewards rulers. Law 11. Make yourself indispensable. Rockefeller positioned himself so deeply within the economy that removing him became dangerous. Railroads depended on his shipments. Banks depended on his stability. Governments depended on the order his company imposed. He was no longer just a businessman, he was infrastructure. When power becomes essential, opposition hesitates. Attacking Rockefeller meant disrupting jobs, energy supply, and national growth. Resistance no longer looked righteous, it looked reckless. Rockefeller understood that indispensability is the highest form of defense. When systems rely on you, your survival becomes everyone's interest. Law 12. Let others do the fighting for you. Rockefeller rarely confronted critics directly. He allowed competitors to fight each other, politicians to debate, journalists to argue, and reformers to fracture. While others exhausted themselves in conflict, he remained still. He understood that visibility attracts fire, distance preserves power. By staying above the fray, Rockefeller allowed chaos to consume everyone else while his system continued to operate uninterrupted. Power is safest when others are too busy fighting to notice who truly controls the field. Law 13. Legalize your dominance. Rockefeller did not rely on secrecy alone. Once dominance was secured, he sought legitimacy. Lawyers, contracts, trusts, and corporate structures formalized what already existed. He turned control into compliance. By the time laws challenged him, his power was already embedded too deeply to remove cleanly. Even when broken up, his influence survived inside the fragments. Rockefeller understood that what is legal appears inevitable. Once power is normalized through law, resistance weakens. Illegitimate power must hide. Legitimate power endures. Law 14. Separate wealth from identity. Rockefeller lived modestly compared to his power. He avoided excessive display. He dressed plainly. He avoided personal indulgence becoming public narrative. He understood that envy fuels opposition. By separating his identity from his wealth, he reduced personal attack vectors. Critics could challenge Standard Oil, but attacking Rockefeller himself became difficult. Power lasts longer when it is not flaunted. Law 15. Secure the legacy before you exit. Rockefeller knew power decays if left unmanaged. Before stepping back, he prepared succession, philanthropy, and narrative. He reshaped his image from monopolist to benefactor. Universities, foundations, and medical institutions carried his name. Wealth became wisdom. Control became contribution. This was not repentance, it was final positioning. Rockefeller ensured history remembered him not only for domination, but for permanence. Legacy is power projected forward in time. John D. Rockefeller did not seize power with noise, nor proclaim it with force. He allowed it to gather, quietly, patiently, until resistance itself grew weary. Where others raced, he waited. Where others struck, he structured. Where others sought victory, he engineered inevitability. He understood that markets are not conquered by strength, but by design. That emotion clouds judgment. That time, when mastered, bends men and systems alike. Rockefeller's genius was never oil, it was order. He built environments in which competition suffocated by its own effort, where opposition appeared irrational, and where control felt not imposed, but necessary. This is the truth his life leaves behind. Power does not belong to the loud, the swift, or the bold. It belongs to those who shape the ground upon which others are forced to stand. Power is not seized in moments of triumph. It is constructed in silence. Those who chase outcomes remain forever exposed. Those who command systems endure beyond conflict, and those who mistake visibility for strength will never know who ruled the room, until the room no longer belongs to them.